Hey guys, hi. Uh, my name is Billy, and I'm an addict. Oh gosh, I'm nervous. I guess. Well, I guess this is one of the opportunities I have in order for me to learn and somehow talk about what happened to me, and somehow maybe help others, with my story. But I'm grateful that I'm here, that I'm able to be still in this program. Like I said, my name is Billy. I was born back in 1982 uh, in El Salvador. So, excuse my accent. I came here when I was 15 years old. But when I was a kid, I never happened to have problems with my family at all. But I only happened to have this type of issue where, like, my nanny, um, she raped me when I was 7, I guess. Which it didn't kind of really bother me, but in a way, it took my innocence away. And the way that I used to look at women as a child, it was, kind of different thing, I kind of grew up with, you know, with a set of mind that, that it wouldn't affect me in a way, which I eventually, work on it. Um, but when I came to this country, I was 15 years old back in 1997. I believe it was October 27th. I only happened to have 2 weeks, just to, hang around, and do whatever I want. And then I went straight down to high school, ninth grade. It was kind of difficult for me because I couldn't understand, the language and, the people, and everything was so much different than my, back in my country, right? And never thought I was gonna be having these type of problems, because I guess I don't know. For me, talking about myself, I think those type of things only happen in movies, as far as like having those big kind of problems with drugs and stuff like that. But then I was able to graduate from high school, somehow learn the language, and I practically joined the Air Force for 5 years. And after that, I was I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but there was something that that really got my attention, which was music. So I remember I asked my dad if there's any way that I could get, a guitar or something, and then I remember he bought me my first electric guitar with my, amplifier, which eventually, as years passed by, I end up learning how to play it, and eventually join a lot of, like, not famous bands, but, famous local type of bands in LA, which, I eventually met a lot of interesting people out there, right? But being in this kind of circle, it's crazy because yeah, like they said, it's all about drugs, rock, how do you say, drugs, sex, and rock and roll, right? And then eventually, I bump into this type of events that lead me to me wanting to do drugs, right? I didn't really have so much trouble with alcohol at all, but I remember one night I was drunk, and I was at the House of Blues in Sunset Boulevard before they tore it apart. And this girl kind of introduced me to Crystal. Back in the days, it was this type of champagne color, which it only was it only I only had to use this much in order for me to last 3 days with no sleep, 3 days, like energetic, and I felt like, wow, what's this? This is something that I will really like to try again, and it happens to start by me just doing it every other weekend till the point that I start doing it every day, right, for 5 consecutive years, and somehow I stopped doing it because I got hired by Metro buses. I used to be a bus driver for Metro back in the days. So I only last 5 years doing that type of drugs, right? Because they used to do what's it called, drug tests randomly, and I was afraid that I might lose my job, and I was making good amount of money back then. Eventually, I move on. I also drove for Dash, Community Express, I became a dispatcher, then a supervisor, then a trainer, and eventually I was taking care of the whole yard in the morning shift. But you know, I never thought at my 41 years old, 40, because that's how old I am right now. I was gonna experience this type of situations, like being homeless and stuff, right? So the last day of January of 2019, the only girl that I happened to date after the mother of my kids left me, right? And then a month after, what's it called? My grandma passed away, which happens to be like my mom as well. Then COVID hits, and then I lost my car, and then little by little I started losing my hours at work. So I was getting desperate, and plus uh, happened to have my grandma die, and then my ex girlfriend left me. I was feeling I was really into a deep depression, into the point that I started doing drugs, right? And little by little, I started losing a lot of things in my life. I started losing everything. Also, contact with my kids. One thing that I really keep in mind was that I was never gonna consume drugs in front of my kids, which I never did, But little by little, I started losing everything to the point that one day I went to buy a pack of cigarettes with a friend of mine, and all I remember is me walking on the streets, and then boom, I woke up at the hospital 3 months later. Uh, it happens to be a run, hit and run, and I fall into coma for like 3 months, right? Just to find out that I had all my ribs broken from my left side, my shoulder and my knee, and then finding myself into that type of situation really scared me off because it took me a whole year to heal from it. And during that whole year, the mother of my kids decided to take my kids to another state without my permission, without me even knowing. My ex tried to come back with me, but then she told me that she had something to tell me before, and that was that she turned into an escort. So I was like, you know what? Fuck everyone. I said, I'm going back to the streets. So for 5 years, I was literally um, torturing myself, doing drugs. My only drug only was crystal, but see, I was just smoking the fuck out every single day. And I remember that at the beginning it was okay because it used to numb up my feelings and all that. But then I started realizing, I felt like I'm living the same day every day. It's the same thing. Every day is the same thing, and I don't get how I'm really settled with this type of life. And I wanted to change because it led me to do things that I didn't want to do in the first place. But then I got so hooked up with it that it was more like I want to do it because of a type of adrenaline I feel, which was boosting things out of the store. Uh, to the point that I became really good at it. They used to call me Billy the bike legend, because every day I used to ride a brand new bike, right, from the stores, bike shops or whatever. Never happened to steal from people at all, and this is why. Because when I my first month that I happened to be homeless, I remember this guy let me borrow a bike to go buy a pack of cigarettes at 7-Eleven, and then somehow the owner of the bike saw me riding the bike, right? And then he cut me up with his bat, and then he pulled out a gun, and he almost shot me, right? And then thanks God that he gave me a few minutes to explain the whole situation, and then somehow he knew that it wasn't me that stole the bike. So that day, I remember myself finding myself crying, but because of anger, I was angry that the just to find out that fuck people don't care about you out here on the streets at all. And the only way that I could survive out there was by me. Uh, I said to myself, whatever I happen to be wearing, carrying, or riding, I'm gonna make sure it's something that I got myself out of the store. So that way I have no one to tell me out there that, this is mine. And so that's how I started doing things till the point that I became an expert. Somehow, I used to wear even the what's it called, the beds from Home Depot and Lowe's. I used to pretend I was an employee for a whole hour helping customers while I was working on my shopping cart, and then just to be able to, get it out of the back door, and stuff. And then people used to ask me, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. That's why I like Crystal because it made me this type of spontaneous person. I wasn't thinking on my way to the store how to do things, but once I'm in it, this whole type of ideas start coming out, right? And I was like, damn, this is so cool. So, but eventually, like, yeah, I was able to do it for 5 years, but then somehow I was gonna get caught one day, So they arrest me twice, and they charge me with two 211s, and they tell me, look, the third time you do this, then we're gonna send you to prison for 6 years out of state, and then we're gonna have to deport you back to your country. And I already know homies that they happen to be already deported. So I was like, you know what? That's it. No more. I said, no more. I have to work things out. And they gave me the opportunity to go into a program. After I got out of county, I went straight up to Pasadena because that's where I used to live. And I remember I went to the Salvation Army, and I didn't like it at all. So the third day I walked out, which it literally turned into what's it called? When 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 a warrant, yeah. And then stupid of me, I went to the store, and then a few days later I got caught by the police and they arrest me, and they find out that I had a warrant. So I went back to jail, and this time the judge was really pissed off at me because he told me, look, you keep playing around with court, and it's not funny at all because I remember, I don't know how stupid I was. I used to print out certificates, of completion of a program, whatever, kind of thing. I used to give those to the judge, and somehow he bought it, right? And I thought I was, for a consecutive year, I was doing that, and then, but I wasn't proving, I wasn't bringing any type of proof of, like, what place are you staying in, or any type of information like that, to the point that the judge got really mad, and he told me, look, this is the only last time I'm going to give you, and if you don't do the program, then goodbye. So the day that I got out from jail, I had 3 months sober, and when we were getting dressed, or getting ready to get out, this guy happened to have a bag of dope in it, and I relapsed. The day that they picked me up on a van and they brought me over here, I came high as fuck, you know, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I even told. I remember the first person I saw was Nancy, and she received me with a hug, and she started telling me like how things are in this house and blah 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 and this and that, and don't get me wrong, that made me really feel welcome, and somehow have this type of like uh not confidence, but make me feel like I wasn't home. Um, she took me into my room, and then she showed me how things were, in Fair Browns. But when you're high, the only thing you think of, it's about getting the next shot. And but see, even high, I say, you know what, I'm gonna try my best because I think I'm already tired of this type of life, and I don't want to do this no more. So um, I was glad because thanks to God, and I have a lot of witness in here that Francisco was my roommate back in 19th Street, and I was about to walk away from this program a lot of times, like 4 or 5 times for stupid reasons, and somehow something used to hold me back and tell me, no, you got to stay here, you got to finish it, because just like you meant up to be out there for 5 years, and even though being a paisa, whatever, but you are over there like stealing shit from stores, and thinks you're a superhero that you cannot even get caught by police. It's you got to do this for you, I mean, for your kids, and from everyone that you love. So thankfully I happen to stay. So I just want to say thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Matthew, Sunshine, for giving me the opportunity. And even Baby Jesus, I'm sorry, that day that I got mad at you because of the shirt I was doing. I said, fuck America and his chemicals, but I was, I don't know, bro. I was mad, but, you know, but I didn't meant it, bro. Like, seriously, like, I really want to thank every single one of you and thank God for the opportunity because now that I'm out there, and I acknowledge the time as well. I just want to say that that God is putting me through these type of things where like I went out this weekend to my dad's house and I find out a lot of people out there that I used to hang out with, and not because I wanted to talk to them, but somehow God put me into that situation because we were coming out of one story and then they were coming out of the same story, and I was like, what the fuck? And then so they saw me and they're like, oh, what's up, boy? And then he shake hands with me and I told them, I'm in this program where like I happen to be clean already for 3 months, and so he told me, look, I'm dirty right now, so I'm not even gonna hug you. I'm proud of you because you're doing that, but at the same time, uh, I could tell that how much this program had helped me, with my recovery. So I told my dad right away, you know what, uh, get me somewhere else, because I don't want to be here, because I was afraid, not because I wanted to do drugs, but because I don't want to be around that people no more, you know. So I want to say thank you, God, and thank you everyone for Fred Browns for helping me. I appreciate it.